to our Palos Verdes Peninsula Unified School District Gifted and Talented Education Parent Information presentation. My name is Suzanne Wildy. I am the Director of Elementary Education, and I will be sharing our PowerPoint with you tonight. As this is a webinar, you are able to use the chat function to add in questions that you might have along the way. So thank you for joining us. To get started, I wanted to share a little bit about the purpose of GATE. So the purpose of our GATE plan here in Palos Verdes is to identify students with exceptional abilities and to foster individual competence to develop and express abilities and talents fully. And I know there are some hands that are coming up. If you want to use the chat, you can definitely go ahead and do that. I will stop sharing for 1 second, but go ahead and use the Q&A if you would like to add anything in. All right. So I wanted to share a little bit about the identification process that we use here. So your child scored a 130 or higher on the Naglieri Nonverbal Ability Test, and it's our 3rd edition, the NAT3. This test is a nonverbal measure of reasoning and problem solving. We test students in our district in grades 4 and in grade 6. If you do have a student that's new to the district or incoming, we do occasionally test 7th or 8th or 5th graders as well. So as your child's already been identified, they will not be testing again. So that is for, our 4th grade students. When they're in 6th grade, we are not going to be asking them to take a test again. So the side pictures are examples of what your child may have seen on the test. They look at patterns and they're trying to fill in the missing one. So I wanted to share next a breakdown by grade level of how our students performed on the GATE test. In our 4th grade, we had 113 students who qualified. 5th grade, we had 84. 6th grade, 141. And as you can tell, that is either their second chance at testing. 7th grade, 145, and currently our 8th graders, we have 101 students. Our 4th grade is extremely high this year, 113. So that's fantastic. What this equates to is about 11 to 15% of a grade level. So we wanted to go into a little bit of now my child's been identified and what exactly does it mean now? So being gifted means that you have the potential and ability for high achievement. Being gifted does not mean always finding learning easy. And gifted learners may find it simple to achieve or even exceed at some or most age normal expectations, but they still do experience challenges as anybody else. One of the things about our GATE test is it's not identifying where the giftedness lies. And so we will see that there's multiple ways to be gifted. There are traits of giftedness, and so no gifted individual is exactly the same, each with their own patterns and traits. There are many traits that gifted individuals have in common, but no gifted learner has the same traits in every area. So as you can see here, there are different cognitive, creative, affective, and behavioral. I will post this PowerPoint onto our website. So if anybody would like to have the PowerPoint available, we'll have it online on the website, and I will share it via email as well. So there are differences that I wanted to go over on a high achiever and a gifted learner, because sometimes these are mistaken or used the same way, but they are different. We do have the high achiever who oftentimes might, and I'm not going to go over the whole list, but they do oftentimes, they know what the answer is versus a gifted learner, and they're asking a lot of questions. So maybe you see this at home with your child, is you're wondering why they're always asking questions. Well, this is one of the traits that they often have. Very curious, the gifted learner. A lot of times they have creative, original ideas. They don't need for mastery as many repetitions, possibly 1 to 2. They are drawing inferences. They are an innovator. Maybe they're always creating things around the house. They are insightful. They make connections with ease. strong feelings, strong opinions, strong perspectives. So maybe you notice this. At the bottom as well, we see highly self-critical. Sometimes our gifted students we see can be very critical of themselves with their own learning. They feel like they can always do better, or they don't want to stop until they get it just right. Some of the characteristics here, again, that we'll see, a lot of times they can be perfectionist. And again, as we said before, this is not every child, as every gifted student is different. These are generalizations of what you may see in a gifted student. Heightened sensitivity, problem solver, abstract thinking, observant, inquisitive, oftentimes excellent reasoning skills, again, learns quickly. Intense interests, sometimes might overreact to things. And again, like the last one, can be critical of oneself and sometimes even others as well. One of the ways that we like to cultivate our learners, our GATE learners, is making sure we instill the power of yet with this growth mindset. So maybe something that you've heard of before, or you've heard being talked about. The importance of this is that word yet into the vocabulary. So a lot of times if your child's saying like, I can't do the math, I can't dribble the ball, I can't hula hoop, you want to say, yes, you cannot do it yet, but with some hard work, with more practice, you can get there. I always say it's really important to praise the process, not necessarily just the outcome. So you're working hard. You do want to avoid comparing to others. I think as a parent of myself of 2 kids, it's hard sometimes to not compare to the other, but you do want to avoid that. Achievement is not a competition. There is enough success for everybody. So again, I think with our GATE students, some of the feedback that we've heard or that I've been asked is there's sometimes frustration in trying something new because they're not good at it the first time, or it is something that is more challenging and they're worried about that challenge. So making sure, again, it's not about praising how smart a child is. It's about praising how hard they're working to discover things and to find out new things. So again, that power of yet, keep trying, you're not there yet, is a great tool. So I want to go in a little bit about what does that mean for Palos Verdes? So your student's been identified, and now what? So what it is for us is it is, again, the identification process. It's information for you as a parent to have. We do recognize the unique abilities and talents. We do try to support, encourage to participate in academic and social opportunities. It is something where we do provide professional development and support for our teachers on how to interact and how to support our GATE learners. And parent support and education is something we try to do as well. What it's not, though, and this is really important, it's not about segregated classes. It is not that all of these kids go to one school or to one class. It is not a requirement for participation into accelerated classes, honors, or AP classes. Sometimes there is that confusion that my child's GATE, so they should automatically accelerate. That's not always the case, because as we talked about, the test isn't testing math skills or where the giftedness lies. So we wouldn't want to accelerate a student for being GATE because we don't know exactly where that giftedness lies. Being GATE does not influence access to programs, courses, or the scheduling process. So I think those are some important fundamentals of our GATE program, of what it is and what it is not. As a parent, how to support your child at home. And these are things that you may already be doing, or it might be some things that you want to kind of think a little bit more about for how to support your child. One of the first things is, to be a good listener, maintain a sense of humor. You want to encourage risk-taking, especially if it's something new or something outside of their comfort zone. I wanted to share a story that last year we took our 8th grade students on a field trip in the summer, and our 7th graders, to the Fulcrum Institute in Culver City, where it was a ropes course. And one of the kids on the bus asked the teacher why they were going to the Fulcrum course. And the teacher asked the child to kind of think about it. And they really came up with this idea of risk taking, because when the students started at the course, there was a lot of challenges, outdoor obstacles, and the kids were really timid at first. They didn't want to do it. They kind of sat back. But then through the encouragement, and saying this is okay, we're all learners, we're all trying it, the students really started to engage and enjoy the process. At the end of it, they didn't want to leave. And I thought it was just really, it was a great story. It was a great experience for the students, and it was great for the teachers to see that even though the Fulcrum course is a, ropes course and outdoors, how it connected still to ways we're trying to support our GATE students. We also want to make sure we value the effort, praise hard work, allowing for free time, not to overschedule our children, especially if you get these results and you want to, start to put them in more things. We want to make sure they have time just to be a kid. They need that time and that space to have the freedom and allow their imagination to work and to be creative and to be an innovator. A lot of the things that they typically love to do. We do want to provide guidance with time and management. Some of our GATE students are great at time management organization, and some have an area that they need to grow in. So again, how do we provide that? How do we model it? Give suggestions to help them. Choices are fantastic. We don't always want to limit them with having too few of choices or too many, so it sometimes can be challenging, but you do want to offer the right amount of choices, or just giving options maybe on what they want to participate in after school, so that they can do this or this, but not both. Encouraging independence, not always doing everything for our children, still allowing them to be a child. We don't want them to grow up too fast. They already do. We want to make sure they know that mistakes are acceptable. We don't want them to feel that they have this label of giftedness and that I'm so smart that I can't make mistakes, or I don't want people to see me making a mistake, because then that label of smartness might be taken away. So praising mistakes, and I think it's really important to share your own mistakes as the parent. I know the more that we are comfortable talking about it, oh, this happened to me today, I made this mistake, and here's what I did. I think it helps our children see their own parents make mistakes also, and how do we bounce back from those. We don't want to compare with other children, as we talked about. Nurture their passions and their strengths and their interests. Again, not overscheduling goes along. You can see that theme of free time there. Encouraging hobbies outside of just academics. We don't want it always to be all related to educational activities. Focus instead on the process. Again, not just right, because sometimes you work so well in that process and then you're wrong at the end, but talk about the hard work, the dedication, the commitment, the time that they gave into it, rather than just you got it right. So that's why I'm proud. And remember just to ask questions. Your child, ask them any question you can think of. They do love to answer them. And sometimes these ages can be challenging to get a lot of information from our kids, but it's important that they know you are invested in part of this with them. Extension opportunities and some ways to help. So we will offer some enrichment opportunities and after school. It is really important we send these. You may have already got some from me, actually. If you're signing your child up, it's really important that you know it's a commitment and your child will attend. A lot of times our spaces are very close to how many kids we have in the program. And sometimes we're not going to have enough space, or we might have a wait list before opening a second one. So we don't want to take away spaces from children that would be there. So please do make sure when you sign up, you are going to be there. If you have ideas, I am always eager to listen to your ideas. What I love about the Palos Verdes community is we have an amazing wealth of resources here in our community with our own families who sometimes have an into something that I can't get into. I know, for example, this year I've been looking at trying to get a field trip to JPL, and I have not had any luck there. Sometimes we've had families who had connections into SpaceX. We have so many great resources here in our district. If you have an idea or you have somebody that I can talk to, please do email me or call me at any time, as I'm always happy to pursue those options a little bit more and find out what we can do to have those for our kids. So I wanted to share some of our student trips for the 23 for this year right now. Every single grade level has a trip, and this is our first time in many years that we've had something planned during the school day for each grade level. So here you can see what we have planned. Our first field trip is actually taking place next week. So we are very excited about that. I do want to make sure you know that if your student is attending the field trip, I do notify the school, the office managers, and I let them know that your child will be absent, that they'll be with us. However, they are not marked unexcused. They are marked for attending a school field trip. So I know I get that question a lot from parents who are concerned that it'll show that they're absent. They are not. With these field trips, we always do bring credentialed teachers on board with us. So we have typically 1 to 2, sometimes 3 teachers on the field trip. It depends on how many kids we have attending. And I do ask for parent volunteers. The messages that I send come through the Parent Square Communications, and you do sign up to volunteer through there. The volunteer ones also go pretty quickly, which is fantastic. I love that we have parents who are volunteering. So take a look for those when we get there. But again, I'm always open for new ideas, and I'll be planning trips for next year as well. So this is, again, something where the students miss school. One of the other parts of our PVP GATE plan has to do with teacher training. We want to make sure that our teachers are trained to work with our gifted students. The teachers are the ones who are with our kids the most often. So I think with the GATE, it's not about the one-off field trips, though they're really fun and they're exciting and kids love to do it. That one-off day isn't going to compare to the educational experience they're going to have from the teacher in the classroom with them, who's able to share the ways to enrich their education and differentiation. So we've created a 5-year GATE training plan. We are going to be working with outside consultants on this as well. We'll be training teachers, and there's kind of a 3-pronged theme here where we're talking about the depth of knowledge, and that's really getting deeper into the courses, how to ask the right questions, to go deep. Depth and complexity is really what it's called, and getting more complex questions. So we're going to be training our teachers on that. We're also going to be doing training on thinking like a disciplinarian, which is a lot of fun. It's helping teachers work with children on thinking like a disciplinarian. So they might give them away. Think about this from the lens of an author, and they talk about the academic language and vocabulary that they use as that disciplinarian. And universal concepts, which are the themes and concepts that they can use throughout all of their subject areas. So maybe it's changing, and they talk about changes and what has changed happen in math, what changes happen in social studies, and it's these concepts and themes that they continue to evolve in their classroom throughout the course of the year and in all the subject areas. Here I just have a little quote. What makes a child gifted and talented may not always be good grades in school, but a different way of looking at the world and learning. I do have a few resources here, additional resources and information with a few websites. And at the bottom, you can see the California Association for Gifted Children. They actually have a family conference that's going to be coming up on March 25th. It is something that you would have to pay to attend. But if you look at the cagifted.org, if you go to that website and you look at the family conference, you can see if that is something you would be interested in attending. In our office, we do look at the California Association for Gifted Children conferences quite a bit, and they have ones for school educators that we've attended, and they've typically been great. So if it's something you want to look at, I wanted to share that resource was there, as they did have something coming up. Along with the lines of the payment with the field trips that we're offering, I wanted to go back to here real quick. These field trips are covered at the cost of the district. So we do not charge our students to attend these field trips. It is something that the California leaves the gifted education funding up to the local school district to decide. So our school district has put aside some funds for GATE. And so we typically, when we're offering a trip, we do like to take the cost of it away off of parents. We do know that we are seeing a high increase in the prices for the buses. Some of the cost of the events are going up more as well. So we're hoping that we can continue this for funding it. Sometimes we may be asking for donations to cover the bus costs, but at this year we are funding all of these trips. And so then our GATE advisory meeting is our next meeting if anybody's interested in coming to. The GATE advisory meeting, that meeting is one where we look through the GATE plan a little bit more in depth to talk about the GATE goals. we go over what they are for the district, and we would like to get feedback on from our community members about anything that they feel is missing that they would like to add in. And then as well, our LCAP is one of our district plans that looks at the whole district, but part of that does include talking about what we're doing with our GATE students as well. So we will talk about that. That meeting is not a webinar. That meeting is held in person. It's here at the Malaga Cove District Office. So anyone is welcome to attend that, and I will be sending reminders as well as we get closer. So that is the end of the presentation. I do see that there are a few questions that I can try to go through in here as well. So it's, do you have a schedule for the 6th grade GATE field trip? Okay, yes, the 6th grade field trip is planned. I have not set out the information on that one yet. That one is the Peterson. The date is in March. I'm kind of working according to which one is coming up the quickest. And so our 7th grade field trip is the one that's next week. So that information has gone out, but 6th grade has not yet gone out. So thank you for that question. Where do we sign up for the field trips? Great question. Again, I send our field trips information out via Parent Square, and you sign up on Parent Square as well. Let's see. I'm looking here. Yes, I see a question in here about a student who's very bright, sometimes does struggle with some work, doesn't need too much additional support, but want to make sure that we're aware, teachers are aware, and if we're going on a field trip. Absolutely. If your child has any kind of special needs or extra support, or there's anything you would like me to know before a field trip, go ahead and just reply to me and tell me, hey, this is going on. I am going to be checking with the sites on the students who are going as far as allergies. But again, it doesn't hurt if your child does have an allergy to let me know so that I can make sure we have everything that we need for the field trip to ensure their safety. The 6th grade question again, yes, that one's coming out soon. I think their field trip is happening in March. So I will start end of January next week or early February sending out the sign up for that one. How are we notified of field trips and other opportunities? Through Parent Square, if they're happening through me at the district office. School sites are able to host their own activities at the school as well. And it is based upon teachers who are interested in doing something, or if a principal's outsourced with someone at a different company. So if you've not heard anything from your school, you're always welcome to email your principal to see if they have anything planned at their site or anything coming up. If it's from me, if it's a district-wide thing, but if it's a school-based thing, it would be coming from your principal. Do all the school sites of particular grade? No. So that question asked was, do all school sites of a certain grade have the same after-school programs? The only ones that are always going to be consistent is if it's something that I'm offering through the district office. One of our field trips, for example, that would be everything. At school sites, it isn't, because the teachers are signing up to do it at their school. If they don't have many students identified as GATE at their school, sometimes we're able to open it to other schools to have other students join. It's something that we've talked about doing more of. We are going to be doing more teacher training. And with the hope with that is when they're learning how to do stuff in the classroom, they might be more interested in leading GATE activities after school. Not every school has something after. So more of that will be hopefully coming with the training that we're doing as well. Yes, 7th grade ones did go out already. If you did not get that, you know, one of the things with Parent Square, you always want to make sure, sometimes my emails go to spam, sometimes they go to clutter. Always check that. You can also send me an email if you do not get it, and I will follow up with you as well. There was something in there that I've never received any emails about field trips. If your child's an 8th grader, then they haven't received anything. Our 6th graders have not received anything yet as well. Our 4th graders have received an email, and our 7th graders, our 4th, 5th, and 7th have. So those would be the ones who should have got something from me as well. Okay, I see another one about the GATE, the field trip next week. It is 7th grade again, nothing from 6th grade yet. yes, the PowerPoint will be available online. So another question about the NAT3 assessment and the score of their kids. The score report should have gone home to you via an email telling you what your child got on that test. So if you did not get a copy of the results, please contact your school principal. The results came in about November, and families should have received the test results soon after, indicating what the score is. So if you did not, please talk to your site administrator. Let's see. So I see a question about how much of the budget is allocated towards GATE. Right now, the budget that's been allocated has been $50,000. We are going to be using it all this year on all of our field trips and our trainings. And so I think, what should the expectation be? That's a really fantastic question. And I think one of the expectations is really, we as a district, it's our hope that we're seeing in the classroom a lot, differentiation happening, and that we're meeting the needs of our learners through enrichment, through our questioning skills, which is in part why we're doing a lot more of the training. And, I see in here like a few random field trips. There are those field trips, and part of that reason is in our GATE advisory meetings in the years past, it came up as something that our parents had asked for in the advisory meetings. There was comments about wanting their children to be with other GATE children and have some events planned specifically for them, which is why we came up with this for this year. However, yes, we do want a rigorous, and we do want an instructional program that is geared towards our students. And our hope is that you're seeing that, and that you will continue to see more of it through our training. Trying to check and see. I know more questions are coming in. It's the great question. Has PVPUSD done any analysis to determine GATE and positive outcomes during the high school years? I've not heard of any of that being done at this time. It is something that, we can look at and talk more about. One of the things we're hoping to do is bring some of our high school counselors in to talk to our middle school parents though about their transition into high school and helping their students be a successful high school student. So at this time, we don't have that yet planned for our 8th graders, but it may be coming at the end of this year where we can work and talk about that. Besides the field trips, any extra classes? No, besides our field trips, there's no extra classes from the district office. At your school site though, there could be some other activities. In our 5th grade class, we do have a little bit happening with writing this year. But that would be the only other one. And that information to the 5th graders has gone out. Okay, I see that email has not, a parent in 6th grade new to the district, they haven't had emails. Yeah, please go ahead and email me and let me know if you're not seeing the emails. You're here today, so this is fantastic. But let me check and make sure everything's coded correctly in the system and make sure that the email you have listed is correct. And if all of that is right, sometimes our technology department can help walk through and see where the disconnect is and why you're not getting the emails, because I have heard that has happened to other people as well. Will the school be requesting chaperone support? Yes, their chaperone support was requested on the Columbia Memorial Space Center. The Parent Square invitation for that did go out today to our 5th graders, and we did put the request for chaperones in there. An example of a school specific activity for GATE students. One of our schools at Cornerstone is leading a Code Blue class, kind of a medical class, where the teacher is doing activities around medicine and helping students understand a little bit more on that level. So I think that's happening. I know sometimes there's STEM-based activities that happen. There have been book clubs that have happened at some of our school sites. So it really depends on the experience of the teacher and what it is that they are hoping to offer for our students. I think we answered that one. So the district-wide activities besides the field trips, no. The trips are, I'm not sure if there's a suggestion you can add on what it is you would be looking for as far as district-wide activities besides the field trips. If there's something, suggestion that you have that you're hoping maybe to see, that would be really great to share at our GATE advisory, or even if you want to email me something that you're thinking, then I'm, would love to hear that feedback as well. Great question. Does the GATE program continue through high school? It does not continue through high school. So as you'll see, all of our stuff has been geared for 4th through 8th grade. Once you get to high school, there are so many choices in the classes and the differentiation and the acceleration that you can take. And there's so many clubs and there's so many opportunities that are really tailored towards the interests of the students. And a lot of times by the time they get there to high school, they really know what they want. So our GATE as the district level and what we're doing is focused on 4th grade through 8th grade. The summer programs, there's nothing specific for the GATE that we have scheduled for the summer. We've looked at doing field trips in the summer. However, last year, we didn't necessarily get a great turnout, and some of the feedback we received was they were more interested in the events happening during the year. So at this time, we don't. It's something we're always happy to look into, or if we see things that might, be of interest to our families, we are happy to share that information. One of the things I do want to share is our invention convention that's happening as a district. You may have heard about it. Hopefully you did. We have coming up, I think, February, the date opens to start posting the materials where I love it. The kids are able to, they think of an idea and they think of an idea of something that they have a problem to, and they solve the problem. We had students in our own district who made it to the national level. They were going regional, which was such an accomplishment. We're really proud of our kids. We did not have a huge turnout of students who participated in it. And I really think with our GATE students, we do have so many that are creative and innovative that it would be great to have more students participate in the invention convention. So if you're looking for something fun for your child to kind of work on, it is a multi-step process. Our district website has a lot of information about the invention convention, and I would suggest you taking a look at that. We did that one. After school enrichment, for GATE, again, it depends on the school site. Yes, the schools should be notifying their classroom teachers of who in their class is gifted, as well as it will show in their Aries account as well, that teachers can see. Currently, field trips right now is at 1 per year or a series. In our GATE plan, we're looking at really 1 field trip. As I said before, the buses are, the prices are extremely high, and we want to be cautious of how often we're taking the kids out of school. So while we like to do it and they have this event, we're not looking at doing a multi-series right now. Just partially is on the cost and partially is missing school, especially the older the kids get. It's a challenge. I know that we had some with our 7th grade, not too many kids sign up. I think the older in middle school, they get worried about missing it. So just the 1. You don't need to register your email. It connects through your Aries account to get the information. So what time I did this? No, field trips are definitely not mandatory. We do know that some kids, as I said before, don't want to miss school. They don't have an interest in the field trip. So it is optional for them to go. There's no college admissions or benefits. I mean, I don't know how, again, our high school counselors could do that, but there's not, I don't see how that plays into the college admissions. Let's see. So question here, GATE, it does not give access to accelerated classes. That is correct, because we're not measuring the specific unique talent. It's more about recognizing the potential that each of our students have and helping cultivate that by our levels of questioning and the ways that we're differentiating in the classroom. Let's see. To share with you. on how to share recommendations on sharing that your child is a GATE student. I think, honesty always works well. Our kids are old enough to understand. You could talk to them, they know they took the test, you took the test. This is fantastic. And looking at some of those resources that I shared before on the website about the California Gifted Kid, there's a lot of parent resources on talking to your child. So you can say, what does this mean? It means that you have this fantastic potential. You have this great ability. They recognize that you learn things quickly, and we're just here to support you. And I think that it doesn't need to be too much information, but I do think it's important information to share with them. So there's not special assignments necessarily to help in classes to foster, but there's really more the skills. And so those are those 3 skills kind of that we were looking at, the depth and complexity, the thinking like a disciplinarian, and the universal concepts are the ones that we really want to get into to foster the student. So one of the things we want to be cautious of is special assignments, which would mean more work. Our GATE students don't want just more work, but they want the work that's tailored towards them. And so with our hope of the training is the assignments are differentiated to see that they have a unique student in their class, a unique learner, and a student who would benefit from maybe doing an assignment a little bit differently. And that's kind of what we want to do, is foster that in the classroom so that they feel engaged. We don't want them to feel, we want them to know that they're feeling supported with the assignments that we're giving them and we're meeting their needs. But it's not necessarily an assignment as much as kind of the training that we're doing, and that could lead into the work that the students are getting as well. Oops. Answer. Time commitment. There's really not, the time commitment's up to you. It's however you want the time commitment to be. It could be, we've had people who, their child qualified as GATE, they had that information and they didn't choose to attend the field trips, which was fine. Or the time commitment could be going on the field trips. As a parent, there's not a huge time commitment. If you want to come to our GATE advisory, we would love to have you there. And then we have this meeting at the beginning of the year, or I guess we're now mid-year, for families that have students newly qualified as GATE. The dates on the field trip will be coming out on an email as we get closer. I think we did that one, answered that one. Okay, so I'm trying to go through. There was a lot of questions, just making sure I'm getting through. Oh, here we go, some other ones. Let's see. When does the after school enrichment start? How do we find out about the offerings? Again, that is unique to each school site. So I would check with your principal to see if they have after school enrichment that's taking place. Let's see. No, so our child moved here. He's in 7th grade. Does he have a chance to take a test for a GATE? So if your child moved here, yes, they're able to take the test if you have a student who's newly enrolled in the district and they missed the testing window in 4th or 6th. However, the testing time has already passed for this year. So it would be the next year to take our test, as we take it in the fall of each year. I don't, this time I'm not sure exactly which elementary schools are all holding them. I would reach out to your site principal though, if you have an elementary student, to see if they are doing it. I see the question about the 5th grade trip being full. I think that's Tim. Send me an email after this or while you're right here. My email is wildeys, WILDEYS @pvpusd.net, and I will be able to help get that situated for you. Is every elementary school participating in GATE? Yes, every school has the opportunity to test their children. Again, the test for GATE is opt-in. It is not, every student does not take it in the district, and it's a preference that the parents have, or the student might not want to take it. So, but they all are given the opportunity to take the test. Every school, we try to work with each school on having a teacher lead for GATE. And that is something that we are continuing to grow. I would not say that every school has a GATE coordinator though. More than one class a semester. So it depends. I see a question, can they take more than one class? It just depends what's being offered at each school, and how much it meets would be dependent upon what's being offered. Yes, I see my email question. It is, I'm not sure if I can use it. Wildeys, again, WILDEYS at pvpusd.net. Again, I'm Suzanne Wildy. The test schedule for 4th grade, the test happens every year at the end of October and early November. So again, it did happen already. Will there be similar meetings to this for the school specific? I don't believe that the schools are having a similar meeting to this for the school specific programs. However, they would be just emailing out the information. I see something about the online free tutoring. Is there a consideration about this for our GATE students to keep learning ahead of the class? You know, at this time, I don't think we've had any discussion of tutoring for GATE specific. Right now, we do have tutoring for no cost to our students in our district with the company Air Tutors, our virtual tutoring company. Right now, that is meeting the needs of our students who are not yet at grade level. Invention convention material. Yes, I think I will try to send that out via an email with this presentation. It is on our PVPUSD website. I don't know exactly where it is. Sometimes you have to go to the search bar, but I can send a direct link after this email, after this webinar or tomorrow with the PowerPoint, so you can see where that is. Again, I think it's a fantastic opportunity. If you have a chance to watch one of our last board meetings, our students went up there and shared their invention. And I think if I had a student who was interested in it, maybe they would watch the board meeting and see the ideas that the kids came up with and hopefully get a little bit inspired. Classes with additional homework. No, not that I'm aware of, but again, it would be dependent upon what the site has. Typically, they're not homework based. It's more just enrichment and fun. Teachers do know. The invention convention, more of a lead time. We did send it in December. So it was on the website December because we wanted students to have winter break over it. So we did have our lead time was over a month because we did want to make sure they did have that winter break in case they wanted to. Let's see. Differentiate. So teachers typically do know who's differentiated. And again, the different assignments are coming from the way that they're teaching and how are they modifying assignments and working with all of their students through the differentiation activities that they have. Again, as we said before, though, no two GATE students are alike. So differentiation for two GATE kids might not look the exact same. So, you know, luckily our teachers are fantastic at what they do. They're really well trained, and we are doing more training though as well. I see a question about the GATE advisory. It is on the PowerPoint. I think I'll send it out at the end. It is in March. I don't, off the top of my head, I can pull it back up on our PowerPoint to see. Our GATE advisory date is it is on, yeah, there it is, March 14th at 2 to 3 here at the district office. Let's see. Yes, I see a question about field trips and bringing a lunch. Yes, and we do put that in the notes as well to make sure that we remind our students to bring a paper lunch. No, I see a question about Mensa, which is another gifted program. I do believe they have their own testing. So you would want to, that's not something that our scores necessarily relate to because there are so many different types of tests to assess for giftedness. Our district has changed over the years as well. And so I believe that you could let them know. Sometimes I do believe sometimes they'll ask for a score report, but I do think they have their own process as well. My email address, yes, ylds@pvpusd.net. Yes, we'll be able to share this webinar. We can try to get some of the questions clarified as well and put up on the website so that we have all of the information for anybody who might have missed it or came in and out of our meeting. I do think we had a great group of parents here today, a lot of fantastic questions, wonderful participation. As I said, it was with our fourth graders. This is the highest that I've ever seen in 1 year of testing. So I think it's great. And it just shows, we're going to continue to dedicate time to training our teachers and doing more that we can to support our children in the class. We are very passionate about making sure we meet the needs of all of our learners where they are, wherever that may be. So I want to thank everybody for joining today. Again, my email, you can feel free to email me with questions. If you have ideas, activities, if you have contacts, I will always take those. I love it. Anytime I've had some great leads from parents in the past, so I know that this will be no different. And I appreciate you being here, being part of this. And thank you again. Have a great evening. And if you need me, you can always reach me on email. Thank you.